Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. I got XRP Crypto Wolf here, and he posted this article. This is a just a roundup from the Unitize conference. Here are the top 10 quotes from the virtual blockchain conference. Now, just going to go over some of these quotes. Just wanted to get to one down the list. Stateless client upgrades for Ethereum 2.0 still a work in progress. Here's a big one. China's DCEP will internationalize the yuan. Down here, Libra will not see the light of day. The financially disenfranchised will drive global blockchain adoption. Next one here, blockchain projects need to prioritize value creation. Bitcoin as hard money. And this is one that I found very interesting. US altcoin futures trading is inevitable. Now, we've heard about Bitcoin futures and cryptocurrency trading in general, but here they were talking about actual altcoin futures. So speaking at a fireside chat, Heath Talbert, the chairman of the United States Commodity Futures Trading Commission, predicted that altcoin futures trading in the country will happen once cryptos get more regulatory clarity. And here's what he stated. Unlike my prediction about Ether, at this point, I don't see anything on the horizon, but I think it is inevitable in the future once major classes of digital assets receive the clarity on whether they are securities or commodities. You'll start to see them also be listed, particularly as they get more popular and people do see them as a store of value. And so that was ultimately what I wanted to discuss in regards to the crypto space. Now, I will link this article obviously in the description if you want to get into some more of these points with regards to the cryptocurrency industry. But guys, here's what we've been seeing. XRP on the daily, we saw this a little bit of movement upward, but now coming back down into this bullish candlestick, which is nice to see at least, right? Price moving up. And the force not as strong moving downward, so it is making a bullish pennant. Bitcoin here still stagnating, ultimately, just still hovering in this level, and a lot of people wondering, because Bitcoin isn't moving, is this an altcoin rally? Over the last couple of weeks, we've seen VET just take off and still remaining up in that, close to that 2-cent range, right now trading at 0.187 cents. And guys, everybody is now interested in Link, the Chainlink project token. So Binance, let's put it on Binance here so we can see a little bit more history on the candlestick. Link has just shot up over 2019, 2020. It has been an interesting project, and I know a lot of the XRP community is interested in this. But ultimately, an altcoin season, okay, we've seen lots of altcoins move up, and the possibility of altcoin futures trading potentially on the horizon. All this within this economic climate. This from DJ Peter Vass at Peter Vass 6 here on Twitter. US dollar slump incoming. Bank of America sees the death cross as confidence in gold rises. So the US dollar is increasingly being viewed in a negative light by investors. Bank of America analysts are seeing a death cross, a bearish technical formation, suggesting that a period of dollar weakness is coming. Meanwhile, confidence in gold has been rising. Now, historically, when people lose confidence in the US greenback, they turn to gold, and this is what's currently happening with regards to the US dollar. So investors are increasingly viewing the US dollar in a negative light amid resurging beer flu pandemic and the prospect of improving growth abroad, such as in Europe. Analysts at the Bank of America Global Research explained on Wednesday that a decline in the dollar earlier this week has set off a bearish technical formation known as the death cross. So past occurrences of the death cross have been followed by a period of dollar weakness 8 out of 9 times since 1980, when a 200-day moving average has been declining as it is now. So, is the US dollar going to fall? Will that bring other fiat currencies up against the US dollar? Let's bring up the US dollar here. Let's bring it up against the Canadian dollar because I tend to look at that pairing quite frequently on the weekly, and you guys can see I have actually noted this level of resistance up here. Sure enough, the US dollar did hit it back in January 2016. Hit that level up there again. I don't know if you guys can see that just recently in March, okay? Then it came down. Now we're seeing the, with regards to the US dollar, we're seeing that death cross. So could it come down even more? Let's look at USD GBP. We are seeing same kind of weak pattern coming down here. USD JPY. Let's take a look at it. So not too strong, and it's looking as though it could in fact get weaker. So something to think about, especially with regards to cryptocurrency and the possible future, or rather the near future, of gold. This from Cardano Nation: $3.6 billion laundered using gold in only 3 years. Yet the MSM and government like to tell you it's crypto that's being used illegally. So this is an older article, but I wanted to bring this up. Will gold be the next bazooka? So in this article, it tells us a little bit about the history, and I know you guys know about the Bretton Woods thing, how Nixon removed the gold standards in the 70s. I'm not going to get into all of that. It kind of just briefly outlines this. Post-2000s dot-com bubble burst. The economy entered a bull run due to an unprecedented lower rate of interest policy by the Fed since 2001. And then down here it says, just compare. In 2006, the U.S. Fed balance sheet was close to $900 billion, which took 200 years to create. However, in June 2020, this balance sheet has been expanded to $7.2 trillion. In the past 13 years, the Fed balance sheet has ballooned by 800%. This excessive money printing by U.S. authorities at some point in time shall lead to the decrease in the faith of the U.S. dollar. If you ask me as an economist, the U.S. dollar is just a piece of paper which the U.S. Fed can print at any point in time. Today, dollar dominates 90% of global trade, as it is the reserve currency of the world. However, this may not be the case in the year 2030, once the US dollar index starts losing its sheen due to excessive global debt and reckless currency printing. You know what I think of this? 2030 isn't that far away. I don't know how many of you guys can remember back to 2010. For me, it seems in some cases just like yesterday, and 2020, again, is already half over, guys. So think about that. 2020 is already half over, and this next decade is going to be an adjustment period, I think, for the financial system. Okay, we are going to see a lot of improvements and a lot of innovation within the financial system, not just with the United States, globally. There's everything we talk about with regards to DLT, blockchain technology, Ripple the company, XRP being that unit of value to be able to source liquidity in order for, the entire global system to work seamlessly. And coupled on top of that, we're seeing this pandemic and we're seeing the US dollar starting to lose strength. And so I think this is going to have a significant impact on how that all shapes up. This is a really interesting article. Again, I will leave it in the description. Just wanted to read this. So, however, if we analyze the above-mentioned facts about the U.S. economy and current geopolitical crisis, then I believe we have a reasonable chance of the U.S. going into a long recession. This situation may aggravate due to current geopolitical tensions. If there is war, then we will see a new world order by the year 2022, guys. This new world order may trigger new reserve currency for the world in this decade. This decade may be an end to the fiat currency system if this geopolitical tension culminates into a World War III. Post this era, we may have a new operating system of the financial market, which most likely in some form shall be backed by gold. New World Order by 2022. This is not an old article either. This was just published yesterday, July 12th, 2020. And, again, talking about gold being that bazooka, doesn't talk about cryptocurrency per se, but we all know based on, the history that we've seen, cryptocurrency is definitely going to be part of this system, and Ripple at the forefront. So this guy's from Central Bank Payment News, just proving to you just how important Ripple and XRP are going to be. So since our debut issue in September 2018, we have been honored to feature contributions from more than 50 central banks and global organizations from 6 continents on topics such as CBDCs, instant payments, financial inclusion, Fintech, and much more. So these are the central banks that are included in this group, including the Bank of Ghana, Indonesia, Bank of France, Bank of Malaysia, Bank of Ukraine, Bank of Canada, Netherlands, Japan, Reserve Bank of Australia, European Central Bank, the BIS, Bank of Mexico. Guys, I could go on and on. There are so many in this list. And then you have the one cryptocurrency related company down here, over here, guys, Ripple. No other cryptocurrency. You do not see Stellar on here. You do not see Lumens on here. No other cryptocurrency related company is listed on here, only Ripple. Now, there are blockchain companies, of course, but what I'm trying to say is there's no other company looking to change the world using one cryptocurrency as part of that global system restructuring. So if this doesn't sum it up for you, I seriously don't know what will. Of course, you know, it's always good to diversify. Don't always keep all your eggs in one basket, folks. And I know some of the people holding Link at the moment are probably very happy about that run that we just saw. But guys, this is the bigger picture. This is the future of finance. We also got this from Ali G at Ali_G_Ali_. People can now create a pay ID for their chosen bank account using either a phone number, email, or ABN. So why do many banks allow only one type of pay ID? Obviously, ING allows more than one type. So this with regards to ING, and they have moved into something called the IFTTT. If this, then that, and it sounds like a blockchain-related system. This is considered to be the oldest fintech, obviously operating in Australia since 1999. And this article isn't even that new. It's from 2018. But PayID has existed in Australia for a while now and is just coming to the United States and other countries around the world. Down here, where was it? Down here, right. Another payment innovation in Australia this year is PayID, so only a couple of years ago, which enables instant transfers between Australian bank accounts without having to remember/know one's BSB and account number. People can create a PayID for their chosen bank account using either a phone number, email, or ABN. So why do many banks allow only one type of PayID? Obviously, ING allows more than one type because it goes back to serving customers' needs. We know ING also a partner of Ripple, so just wanted to mention that. I also wanted to take the time to mention this. Yesterday's video was with regards to VeChain and Ripple and a possible partnership. Now, a lot of it was very speculative, and we could find some connections there, but we don't actually really know for certain if it's happening. But Crypto Dash at crypto_ODL on Twitter posted this. He says he called it back in May, and this from the VeChain Telegram group. He said, thinking of this smart contract specifying delivery dates and specific agreements, Ethereum authentication and supplies, VeChain with instant settled cross-border payments, XRP, on one ledger equals DLT, which equals the Internet of Value. Just looking at how SBI Banking Consortium talking about supply chains and using DLT to do these things. I was told if this happens, VET would lose all of its functionality running on the XRPL as an IOU. But the point is, he called it back in May, and sure enough, we have evidence pointing to that direction. So I wanted to give Crypto Dash credit here. He points out a lot of amazing stuff. And so guys, if you are not following him on Twitter, please follow Crypto_Dash. I know he used to have an old handle, and apparently Twitter closed him down as well. So this is his new handle at Crypto_ODL on Twitter. And just for sake of argument, speaking of old Twitter handles, guys, I have been contacting Twitter relentlessly with regards to my old Twitter handle at WorkingMoney589. Hello, and this is their response to me. Hello, we're letting you know that your account has been suspended and will remain suspended due to multiple or severe violations of our platform manipulation rules. Please do not reply to this message, as this email address is not monitored. Okay, so I'm adding a little bit of emphasis there. Based on how I feel they are behaving with regards to this situation, guys, as you know, I didn't do anything of the sort. I've been posting my videos. I actually rarely get on Twitter. I've been trying to get on more often now. But anyway, just to show you guys how Twitter has reacted to my multiple appeals, considering I have not abused the platform, I have not done anything wrong, but they seem to think so. Who knows? Anyways, guys, I'm at WorkingMoneyCH on Twitter if you still haven't followed me. But let me bring your attention to this. So Project Ubin's fifth and final phase highlights commercial potential, paving the way towards live adoption. The multi-currency payments network prototype, developed under Project Ubin's Phase 5, successfully settled payments in different currencies on the same network. Guys, this brought to us by XRP Crypto Wolf on Twitter. Now, Project Ubin, for those of you guys who do not know, is a collaborative project with the industry to explore the use of blockchain and distributed ledger technology for clearing and settlement of payments and securities. The project aims to help MAS, so the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and industry better understand the technology and potential benefits it may bring through practical experimentation. So if I'm not mistaken, Ripple was part of this project, and nevertheless, there was a connection via Siam Commercial Bank, which we do know is a Ripple partner. So Digital Ventures, a subsidiary of Siam Commercial Bank, has developed a platform called B2P, and Crypto Wolf just outlines this. Now we can see it is powered by Corda, which does indeed settle with XRP. The B2P platform was integrated with the Ubin payments network to facilitate supply chain trading and financing. Buyers, sellers, and banks exchange trade documents over the platform with payments settled through the Ubin payments network. This integration shows the potential for achieving more efficient means of cross-border single currency settlement. And this just out recently too. Project Ubin, the Singaporean Money Authority's blockchain initiative, moves closer to commercialization. So it has proven its commercial potential after tests with more than 40 companies. Originally, the initiative was launched in 2016, but now a prototype developed by Temasek and JP Morgan began undergoing testing last year to see how well it would integrate with commercial blockchain applications. A report released today commissioned by the MAS and Temasek said Project Ubin's prototype was validated through workshops with more than 40 financial and non-financial firms. Its potential uses include faster, less costly cross-border transactions, foreign currency exchange, and smart contracts for escrow and trade. The report also said that Project Ubin's prototype can potentially pave the way to enable more collaborations with central banks and other financial institutions to build better cross-border payment networks. In a statement, Chia Song Hui, Temasek's deputy chief executive officer, said this validates Temasek's efforts in exploring and building blockchain solutions, focusing on digital identity, digital currencies, and financial asset tokenization. We look forward to supporting commercialization efforts emanating from Project Ubin and other application areas with a view to drive greater adoption of blockchain technology. So there you have it, Project Ubin making strides, making waves in this sector. And if my memory serves me correctly, I do believe that Ripple directly was included with this. Nevertheless, Siam Commercial Bank, obviously a Ripple partner and part of this as well. So a connection there as well. We got the U.S. Secret Service as well, and how they've created a finance-related cybercrime task force only a couple of days ago on July 10th. This again from XRP Crypto Wolf. And so what does this have to do with? Well, according to the official announcement, the Secret Service has been planning over 2 years to create a unified task force to combat cybercrimes related to the financial sector and fight things like ransomware attacks, business email compromise scams, credit card online stealing, among other things. The CFTC appears in a context that the illegal market of credit card stolen data through the dark web and banking details from companies keeps rising. And they have more concerns about cryptocurrency transactions, so the Secret Service showed concern toward the role of cryptocurrencies behind the online illegal transactions, as these have become one of the primary means by which criminals launder their illicit profits. And so here's just a quote: "Financial crimes and cyber crimes are two sides of the same coin. Digital skimming and magic card attacks fuel dark web marketplaces and surface in the real world as payment fraud. That hurts businesses and erodes confidence in the financial system. The combined FBI Cyber Fraud Task Force will enable better data sharing and strike at the root of the problem." So the U.S. obviously wants to prevent fraud, and just another prong in this effort to legitimize cryptocurrency. So, with the good comes the bad, guys. You have to realize this: the United States government is not going to regulate cryptocurrencies unless they can get a handle on all the ways that criminals use cryptocurrencies. And so since it's been the Wild West for so long, the US and other countries have just kind of said, okay, well, we don't know that space, we're not going to touch it. Up until recently, now when companies like Ripple are coming into the picture and saying, hey, look, you can use cryptocurrency for good, and the United States government, it took them some time to get on board, but finally they're like, okay, we'll look into this, but we do have to get a handle on all the stuff that we don't like with regards to cryptocurrencies. So more strides in the right direction for cryptocurrency adoption. And unfortunately, it's going to get a little messy probably before it gets better. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. Nevertheless, the positive side to this, I got this from Michael at Val5Links on Twitter. G20 officials announced on July 11th that they would begin laying the regulatory groundwork for the group to accept digital payments. So despite what's going on in the space with regards to illegal activity, G20 countries want to get a move on with this. So digital currency payments may become a reality for G20 members before the next summit in Saudi Arabia. As reported by Kyoto News on July 11th, officials revealed that the G20 summit, comprising representatives from 19 countries and the European Union, will be laying the groundwork to accept digital payments. The changes are expected to begin in October, presumably at the G20 Finance Ministerial and deputies meetings in Washington, D.C., and before the next summit in Riyadh in November. So what are we talking? Quarter 3, end of quarter 3, quarter 4, 2020? This is when we're going to start to see digital payments. According to the Japanese news outlet, G20 officials enacted the policy change in response to China's progress on creating a digital yuan and Facebook's anticipated release of Libra. So again, as a reactionary measure, nevertheless, it's better than nothing, I gotta say. At least they're realizing that the world is changing, and maybe it did take a bit of a kick in the butt for them to kind of jump on board, but they're seeing this. They're realizing, look, China's going digital. There's the Facebook thing and, all the power that they have because of all the users they have. And now G20 countries saying, let's get on this. It's great, though, that the groundwork has been laid. Ripple and XRP can help with this. All the rails are in place. Brad just needs to flip that switch, and we can get the world on the IOV, the Internet of Value. And if we see a new world order develop by the year 2022, as mentioned in what article was it now? I think it was this article, right? It was the gold article, suggesting that because the US dollar is losing momentum and it could be replaced, the author of this was saying that, we could see a new world order by 2022. And because of the way everything has been positioned up until this point, XRP is in a great spot, with central banks and the powers that be around the world. They're in a great spot to really make a difference. And most importantly, guys, for you and I, to gain value, which would mean price would rise. So this from Easy XRP. XRP is the crypto to watch, says Vegas Blackjack Pro. Now, before you guys say, okay, what does this Vegas Blackjack guy know about crypto, know about XRP? He's probably just a gambler. He probably got rich off crypto and spec runs. And so what does he know about the actual real world utility? Well, this is not just anybody, guys. This is one of the MIT Blackjack team, Steve. I think it's a pseudonym because he doesn't want to be revealed in this interview, but Steve played on one of the MIT Blackjack teams that profited mightily off the Las Vegas 21 tables in the 90s. He's one of the few people I know with both an MBA and an MD. This guy is no slouch, okay? Recently, he offered his medical expertise at the Clark County Medical Facility dealing with beer flu patients. These days, he spends time using his knowledge of odds and profitabilities looking for inefficiencies and edges in Vegas table games and other betting offerings. So, for those of you guys who do not know, the MIT Blackjack team, an infamous group of students from MIT that just went to Vegas and played the odds with something called card counting. They would count the cards that would come out and just based on what was already being shown, would bet accordingly, and they would spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours doing this, and they would do it in teams so that they could keep playing, and over time, they would profit hugely. They would come back weekend after weekend after studying a full week at MIT, and it spawned on movies such as this one, guys. I don't know if you've heard of this, 21. It was released in 2008 with Kevin Spacey and a few others, Kate Bosworth, Jim Sturgis, Lawrence Fishburne was in it as well. But these guys basically used math. They used their expertise, their smarts from MIT, and gamed the blackjack tables in Las Vegas. I saw a documentary about this guy. He was one of the team as well. This is Semyon Dukac. And if you haven't seen this documentary, I think it was called Bringing Down the House. It was a History Channel documentary on the whole thing. They go into great detail about this. And I just remember this guy from it. I don't know who the rest of them were, but apparently this guy, Steve, part of that blackjack team, thinks XRP is going to go up in price. So when we talked last week, okay, he's talking with the interviewer here, I was surprised when he asked me about the cryptocurrency known as XRP. I told him all I really know is that it went way up in price and then came way back down in the spec run of 2017, of course. Since Steve spends a lot of effort analyzing what might work probabilistically in Sin City, we ended up having a conversation about his interest in that particular crypto. And so here's what he said. So John Navin is the interviewer. What makes XRP different from other cryptocurrencies? And so Steve responds, XRP is designed to be an instant fund transfer application. It is attempting to take over all retail transactions and SWIFT international money transfers. If you transfer money now internationally, it takes a few days to receive and has fees associated with it, as we all know. XRP is instant and at a very low cost. In short, it has functional use. Right now, price is increasing on demand alone, and its application has not been adopted to any great degree. When this happens, there will be significant gains. So then when he was asked for price targets on XRP, he obviously agrees with the fact that it is designed for $10,000 per coin. This assumes every retail transaction and international currency transfer uses XRP, of course. This is very optimistic and a long way off, he goes. But as it goes up, I will take some profits at certain times, but I don't have a targeted price to sell all of it. So he is never selling all of it. He is taking profits as it rises. When he was asked if he had a stop loss, he says, you know what, right now I'm in wait and see mode. He's just waiting for it to go up and is not concerned about the day-to-day ups and downs. How long do you plan to hold and why that long? Steve says, when I made the purchase of the coins, I was in it for the long term, at least 5 years. Then he was asked about some other cryptocurrencies and why he holds them, and he mentions technology movies, futuristic movies from the 80s and 90s, and he likes to see technology play out. He does hold other cryptocurrencies, but none as exciting as XRP. When asked about other investment opportunities, he says, I've moved most of my assets into cash and I'm looking for opportunities. Until the current social climate settles down, I don't plan on moving any assets into the market. So the only assets that Steve holds is cryptocurrency and cash. Okay, that's all he holds at the moment. And what he's saying is that XRP is going to be a game changer. He's just waiting for the right time and he's never going to sell it all. Remember, guys, in a spec run, when we see XRP rise, make sure you also have price targets. Make sure you have a plan. Make sure, with all your cryptos, just make sure there's a plan before you exit, because if you sell it all at, let's say, $5, $7, $10, because you're just fed up, you've been holding XRP for 2 years, and you finally see some meaningful gains, think about how you will feel if XRP hits triple digits. Okay, sell a little bit when it reaches a certain price target, but never sell it all, guys. We've seen historically Bitcoin just keep rising and rising and rising, and it's projected to keep rising into the foreseeable future. The thing we have to remember is that all the cryptocurrencies that solve a problem will be valuable down the road. Right now, we're still in a spec market, and Link, VET, whatever cryptocurrencies you might see today rising in price. Here's Link again, guys, on the weekly. And yeah, it's a thing of beauty, but at the end of the day, all cryptocurrencies will be scrutinized by their potential end users. And if a cryptocurrency does not have a use case, it will likely disappear. The cryptocurrencies that will hold value are the ones that will solve the problems. And I just wanted to bring this up. This from Life's Tough Media, guys, at Life's Tough Media 1 on Twitter. Dustin's a great guy. He interviewed me for his Cryptonaires documentary. Waiting for that to come out. He's a fan of XRP and some other cryptocurrencies. And here's what he had to say. I just sent my dad an emergency $300. He was standing in Walmart and needed money fast. Want to know how much Walmart and MoneyGram charge me in fees? 10%, that's $31. Terrible. He says, long live crypto, and he likes Bitcoin Cash, BSV, XRP, and XLM. May they all and others succeed. They are the solution. So, of course, this is a MoneyGram transaction, but clearly not going through XRP at the moment. And if they are, they're still charging exorbitant fees. This is going to be a thing of the past. It's only a matter of time before the United States of America and the rest of the world get that regulatory framework in order to level the playing field for the Internet of Value, including cross-border payments, and Ripple and XRP will be at the helm leading the way. Anyways, that's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.